Hello.
And we're back.
We're late, which is poor from
We are
us.
late.
Which
We are
is so
late.
poor
We
from us.
apologize.
The title of this episode is going to be The Late Late Show.
That's a good one. I like that. I like that. Getting straight into it.
But since we've failed to deliver, we just don't think we can live up to the standards of best podcast hosts in the world now. So
No,
I think we might have to quit.
might pack it in. Yeah, I think it starts with a couple of late episodes. Then we're missing weeks.
We're missing weeks, and then all of a sudden it's
then we're
just all
taking a
gone to
break,
shit.
and then
Exactly.
you'll never hear of us again.
No.
So we might as well just pull the plug.
Just stop now.
Just rip the Band-Aid off while it's
Absolutely. Did you know the Olympics were happening?
I
me neither.
did barely. Yeah. It's
I'll tell you what, that is a refreshing sign of normality where the Olympics have happened and we don't care. That's how you know things are getting back to normal.
But that's the thing. I feel like maybe, I don't know. Was it a timing thing? There used to be some hype around it. You used to at least know.
I think what you're thinking of is one of the only Olympics in our lifetime, which was 2012.
Was the London one. Yes,
so we
of
think
course.
There was hype around the Olympics. Realistically, there's no hype.
No?
There was no hype this year. Where were they in 2016?
Rio.
Were they in Rio?
Yeah. I think.
Cannot remember a single. No, was that the World Cup or was it back-to-back Brazil?
It might have been
back-to-back Brazil.
I think so. Maybe. Hold on. Let's just check. Jamie, you gonna pull that up for us?
Can you pull this one up? No, but I cannot remember a single thing from last Olympics.
Yeah, it was Rio.
Was it?
No,
was it Rio?
Neither can I.
Yeah.
But I feel like there was at least some conversation around it. No or no?
I mean, there might have been.
Am I transferring my remembrance of the London Games to?
Maybe there's hype around the Olympics, and I'm just being very cynical. My dad's very excited about it. He's very excited.
I like the idea of it.
I like the sports. I think I've found recently after my foray into football that I do prefer like the individual sports, if that makes sense. Like I like the running races and the swimming races and the gymnastics. I'm a big fan of gymnastics. I like that a lot. That's one of my favorites. But yeah, it's also hard because it's in Japan. So like all of the events are basically happening while we're asleep anyway.
Yeah, that is also true.
So
this is true.
It's just a bit difficult, really.
But this brought me to something, right? We've had a lot of conversations about dying mediums and dying arts and how all of these things are like, creatively bankrupt and all these things that were so huge and given so much like credit and have been slowly dying.
Yeah.
And it seems like the Olympics is one of those, and that's in a different arena to the stuff we discussed before, because the viewership, it was another thing where the viewership fell like 40% from the last opening ceremony.
Really?
Just like steep falls. Do you think
to be fair, I didn't watch the opening ceremony.
No, neither. I didn't know the day it was happening. I knew after when I heard about it and shit, but I didn't know beforehand. Do you think our generation and maybe like the young millennials, do you think we'll care about anything? Like at all? Will we uphold any, like, because no one seems to care.
I think the Olympics is hard because the Olympics seems to be just a collection of miscellaneous sports. It's a big collection of very, very, very niche sports that not many people are going to give a shit about unless you're like avidly into pole vault or hammer throw,
long jump,
or skateboarding, which is now in the Olympics. That was on.
Nice.
When I went to gym,
is that their go-to appeal to the kids? Is that what I'll watch?
I don't know.
Yeah, all the kids are gonna watch the Olympics for the skateboarding, right?
I don't know, man.
Fucking rad.
I was in the gym, and they had the skateboarding on, and it looked interesting. Like it looks decent. Like
What is it? Is it like a race? Is it 100-meter skateboarding race?
No, it's Did you ever watch the X Games? Or have you ever seen any clips from the X Games?
Not really, but I've like
it's basically the exact same like system as that. It's like they call it like a street event. There might be other skateboarding events, but this was the only one I saw. They call it a street event, and they basically set up a skate park, and you just basically do your coolest tricks. So it's like done on merit. It's not done on like speed.
Oh, okay.
It's like subjective difficulty level skill, like diving and shit. But it looked fine. But yeah, the Olympics is this very large collection of very niche sports, and I think we'll keep all of the like, I think in terms of sports, there'll always be the classics. Like you'll always have the World Cup. You'll always have like the rugby one and the cricket one and the there'll always be those. But I hope the Olympics sticks around. Because like
no, I think it will.
In terms of like old sports, that's the oldest sport. You know what I mean? That's some like ancient Greek shit.
Yeah. It will. These things will stick around, but I wonder if it's just, I don't know, and I wonder if like the internet and all this like immediate accessibility to stuff, has it just made us like I feel like, okay, maybe I should have rephrased it. I don't think those things will disappear, but I feel like we don't have connections to these things that were considered like events as much as past generations do. Because like shit was boring, so when something would happen, you'd be like kind of hyped for it. But now, we're just always kind of on the same plane of being like semi-entertained, semi-bored.
Yeah.
So when something kind of interesting that we don't really care about happens, it's not all that.
Yeah, because there's just so much going on.
Okay, let's run with this for a second. How wild! So now they've got skateboarding, right? And they've introduced like a couple of other wild ones.
Yeah.
How far do you think it'll go?
They'll just they were like I remember like they were talking about encompassing a whole bunch of things. Some are like more ridiculous than others. But like the skateboarding one, I'm like, okay, that's fair. Like I don't mind the skateboarding one. I think that's fine. Like, but some of them were like, talking about like introducing esports into the Olympics, which like I wouldn't be too fussed about in theory, but I feel like that should probably be a separate competition to the Olympics. Like I don't mind in theory, like an international esports competition on like a
so what would that
I don't know
entail?
I don't know, because what like esports currently is like, first they'd have to pick like a game or like a couple of games because there's a lot of fucking games out there. So they'd have to pick like a standard esports game, which I don't think could happen in the first place. Then you'd have to get like national teams, which I don't think is possible because esports is a very, internet digital centric.
It's not regulated.
Thing.
Yeah, it's not like a.
Yeah, but it's also not like every country has access to play esports. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like every country can have runners. To a lesser extent, every country can have swimmers and stuff. Because those are like, what do you need for runners? They run. Like there's no extra equipment that they need. Like there are going to be a lot of countries out there who don't have the facilities to have esports teams. So it'll be a very niche thing. There's just a lot of shit that I feel like would go into that to like make that not possible. But like I'm not dismissing the idea of like an international esports competition, because I think currently they just play as like you've got like teams, and the teams have like the teams cross like nationalities. Like I know there's like American and British members in like FaZe Clan. So like they cross nationalities and shit. So it'd be interesting to see like a specifically national team compete. But yeah, they were talking about esports. I think they mentioned chess at one point as well. They were thinking of introducing chess.
Nice, love
into
it.
the Olympics, which again I'm not like exactly opposed to, because I feel like chess is like in terms of like, well, because in terms of
Well,
like,
it's considered a sport, isn't it?
yeah, and in
Like
terms of like
technically.
board games or in terms of like just games in general or competitive things, I feel like chess is up there with the classics. Like nobody really recognizes it now, but I feel like chess is such like a classic competitive game.
It's
You know
true.
what I
It is.
mean?
It is.
Like, wasn't there that movie with Toby Maguire where he basically won the Cold War with chess?
Yeah, symbolically, he's symbolic.
He
But then I think he
symbolically won the
lost
Cold
in the
War with
last one.
chess.
I don't even know
I didn't watch it. I don't
because
know.
he was just like, you know, classic,
But they
Westerners with their
but they
feelings
played,
and shit. He was just having like
yeah.
nervous breakdowns, and then the Russian guy would just go up to him and be like, "You don't look well," and then he'd like start crying, and
It was
then the
literally
Russian
that.
one would just
That was
obliterate him.
from what I
I think
remember.
that's
From what I
exactly what
remember
happened
from the trailer,
historically.
that is literally it. It's he's freaking out. That Russian guy's living in his head rent fucking free.
Rent fucking free. No, but that's a funny idea. Like the lengths that the idea that they, in order to bring it to a new generation, they kind of include these new sports. Like imagine how fucking warped it would be if in like 4 years we see, the Olympics brought to you by Twitch, and it's just like fucking, and they're doing
Low
like
key, low key. Should they stream the Olympics on Twitch? Would that
it
be
could
such a bad
happen.
idea?
It probably wouldn't. It would probably do them, good.
I think it would do them a world of good. I think, I think I think they should stream a lot of like events on Twitch. I mean, I don't know how the revenue system works with Twitch cuz I feel like there's a more direct way to make money with like pay-per-views. And I think that's a more, that's an easier regulated system and it doesn't involve as much like hoopla as like running a Twitch. But at the same time, it's like there are so many illegal streams for pay-per-views
Yeah,
anyway.
already.
Like
Yeah.
I may or may not have watched every single like YouTuber boxing event that there's been so far illegally. Like I may or may not have never paid for any kind of boxing event or UFC event for that matter.
No.
Allegedly.
Rumor has it.
Rumor has it. So like, would it be such a bad thing if they started streaming that shit on Twitch?
No, I think it would actually be a shout, but it would be amusing to see it, like the Olympics brought to you by Twitch.
That would be
And what
that
other
would be
shit?
G
What other shit could they
Fuel.
do? Just niche stuff. Like I don't know. Like how far will they go? I looked it up. They brought
Well,
like sport
they've got
climbing is a new one this year, and
they've got
speed
the
climbing.
they've got the wait, can you give me like 1 second? Can you entertain the audience?
Sure, no worries. um, yeah, so it's just me and you guys. But it just got me thinking. What other new shit are they going to introduce? How far will they go with this? Will they start doing the Olympics for skipping stones and shit? Imagine if they just go wild and like hella sexual with it. It's just this one. You have like a control variable, this one woman, and it's like how quick you can bring her to orgasm, and it's like there's a 24-hour gap.
I'm going. What the fuck?
There's a 24-hour
What
gap
the
between
fuck are you talking
competitions
about? I need you
to
for
keep
like
it
two
fair.
seconds. What kind of shit are you chatting? Fuck
uh,
me. You really know how to bring down the brow of the
that
podcast,
was
don't you? What
easily
were you
the
talking about? I completely missed all of that.
No, there was a logic. There was a logic chain there. I'm not sure if it will translate, but there definitely was a train of
I'm
logic. I
gonna,
was saying like,
I'm gonna skip over that, and I'm just gonna have to watch that back in the edit and just
yeah,
find out
okay,
what
yeah,
you're
do
saying.
that, maybe do
I'm
that.
just gonna, I'm just gonna leave that. What was I saying before I left? Um, what was I saying? Oh, ways to get the youth interested in the
The
Olympics. Well,
youth,
they
the
already
youth
have
into
like a
it.
TikTok account.
Probably they do. They
No, they
definitely do.
do. I've
Hundred
seen it.
percent.
It's come up on my for you
Oh,
page. They have
yeah.
they have a TikTok account and they're making like memes of the Olympics, or they're using TikTok sounds, which is to be expected, I guess.
That's one thing that's kind of cool about all this shit. It's just, the Olympics hired like some 22-year-old kid out of like San Francisco to just remotely run the Tokyo Olympics like TikTok account. And he's just like, and he just has the power to like represent the Olympics.
That is quite cool.
On like,
that's the thing. Like, as much as like, people take the piss out of like social media or like marketing people, like low key, the job must be so easy to walk into. It's one of the very few jobs where you probably have an advantage being young.
Yeah.
Like loads of jobs need like experience and shit, but like running a company's social media account must be such a blessed job.
Yeah, true. And it's become abundantly clear. It was something that was always clear to young people and young people of the past and stuff.
Yeah.
But getting like old executives to try and appeal to younger generations just never works. You just have to bite the bullet and outsource it, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's just too corny.
But even
and that's one thing that's good, I guess. You could argue that the power, like at least that's one positive of like social media, the power shift somewhat gets rebalanced a bit.
I think there's only up to a certain point where people will take it, because like, the average consumer still thinks that like corporate Twitter is like mad cringe, and like just any kind of corporation trying to partake in that kind of culture is just mad cringe,
which we've discussed.
Yeah, we have discussed. But
in the early days.
Oh my god! Oh shit! Yeah, I just remembered.
Yeah.
I don't know what episode that's in, but are you thinking of the Burger King thing?
Yeah.
Oh
yeah. Back in the early days, yeah.
Fuck, I don't know what episode that's in, but Jesus Christ. So if there's one takeaway from all of this, guys, go.
We're going to be illegally streaming the Olympics on Twitch. Check out our handle,
Go
follow the page.
A social media account for any kind of corporation. Just do it. I'm sure they will love you.
Just do it. Just knock on the door of the HQ and be like, you need me.
Even better, if you can find a corporation that doesn't have a social media account, just make one for them and run it yourself.
Yeah, and just hope you get bought out. Yeah,
and just hope you get hired. What's the worst?
Yeah.
Anyway,
you know what? That actually might not be the worst piece of advice we've given at the end of an episode.
I feel like we've given.
We could be. Yeah, for sure. We could be creating jobs right now. We could be rejuvenating the economy single-handedly.
We directly have a positive effect on the economy, don't we?
Damn.
God, we are so cool.
Well, it's just that's it's powerful, but it's also a responsibility. With an audience this big, you have to. We don't take it lightly, is what we're saying. But we understand the influence we have over people. So, get in there, guys.
This has definitely been an episode.
It has.
And we will see you all in the next one.
This much we can say. Goodbye.
See you all in the next one, lads and ladder. And I'm going to stop talking.